Good evening, chaps and ladies, and I've just hurt my foot on something. Thank you very much for joining me yet again. Let's try and get set up like we were last night. Right, it's about as good as I can get because I forgot to charge the radio control tripod up, so we've not got a use of that. So what we'll do, we'll press. Right, we're back on the VT. What is it? Is it a VTC 5000 SANYO? We're back on this, and we're determined that we're going to get the damn thing to work correctly. Right, so we've got sound. Right, as you can hear. Right, let's get the phone set up. I will be honest, I did a bit of testing. I downloaded the manual. I didn't really get any hints out of the manual. In fact, I didn't get any hints at all out of the manual. Shit. Nearly melted through a bloody wire. Anyway, I better just check that. Oh, we're alright. Yeah, we're okay. There we go. Right. Get rid of that. There we go. Yeah. Just clean that off. Must have spilled a bit of my coffee on it earlier. Right. Well, we've got two in at the moment. Say hello if you want. If you don't want to say hello, don't bother, but it's always nice if you do. Right, let's shift some of this shit. There we go. Right. As you know, go to camera 4. As you know, last night, oh, my fucking mouse has gone off. There we go. Right, go to camera 4. Right, so we can see the scope there, just about. We know when we're on something. Right, so I started going here, and we're getting the video information. That's actually the video actually playing. And wherever else I go, I get the video playing, except for down here. Get it there. Don't get it there. I don't get it there. I don't get it there. But I get it there. So we've got a signal there. Now, I went round all these electrolytics. Straighten them all back up. I went round all these. I went round all these transistors that are dotted about the place. And I looked at this couplet here and I thought, well, there's nothing there. and there's not really anything there. There's a bit of gain there, but not enough, nowhere near what should be. And I thought, right, but there's bags of gain there. So what did I do? Just take the scope off a second. I said to myself, I said, self, get this resistor. I don't know what value this resistor is, I can never read them. That doesn't matter. I just said to myself, self, get this resistor and just jump across across pin 1 and pin 3 of the couplet and see what happens. And what happened? Well, I'll be blowed. We have ourselves a nice picture. We actually have a picture. And it's not a bad picture. You know, that's not a bad picture. But we actually have a picture. Now if I take the couplet off, if I take the resistor off, there we are.
Andy?
What? What? What?
Where are you?
I'm here, I'm doing a video.
Carl told me to give you 20, not 10.
You told me to give you 10. Told
No,
me.
20. Here.
Oh. Why have we
He
spoke
owes
to
you
him?
20, doesn't he?
Yeah, why have we spoke to him?
Yeah.
When did you speak to him?
I just spoke to him now.
Because he was at Wayne's earlier.
I spoke to him, he's at home.
Right, because a lad on the CB told me he was at Wayne's.
No, he's not now.
No, he might have gone this afternoon.
He's
He
back
told,
home now.
he told me he weren't going out today.
Because he said it was very slippy there up his end.
But then again, that was all
Do you
gone
want
by.
me to get gas on that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because no, you better not, because I'll owe Mildred some shopping.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you said scraps on there?
Yeah.
Right, it's just got to go out. Tell Carl to give the 20.
Right. Anyway, getting back to this, the fault is that couplet. So, which is that brown thing there that looks like a lozenge, or a lozenge rather, not a lozenge. Looks like a lozenge. And there's a couple more of them dotted about the place. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. And that's the one there that's failed. So what we need to do is find out what's inside that. Now obviously it'll be capacitors. But if I just move that across a bit and put my resistor back, and we can try the various functions like the picture search and stuff. And there's the picture. I can't believe the picture actually flicked on. There's the tracking, it works. Yeah, the tracking works. Yeah, this is Star Trek. It's now I've got to find out what the button, where the buttons are. Yeah. Black and white picture search. Works anyway. I always thought the picture search on these was colour, but it's not, it's black and white. Where's my screwdriver? Because I want to adjust these things that I adjusted last night, put them to where they should be, like the playback level and shit. The comb filter, I don't think I turned that, did I? Set that to about there. That looks a bit better. Playback level. And that's about there, that's about right. Let's play about with the controls on the front of this monitor. It's contrast, brightness, colour, don't know what that one does, and sound. I'm going to set that comb filter to about there. There will be a setting for it. It's only noise can comb.
I don't mean to intrude.
Yeah, but that's not bad.
Not home.
That's actually not bad.
The bridge. Can I talk to you for a minute? I poured myself a drink.
And that's for the colour.
Savick was right. You never have faced death.
I wonder if that's no colouring because of that. Let's get this back on. Let's just try it. No. Let's put this back on. Play. Wow.
Space. The final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Their ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds.
How about that then, eh?
Seek out new life forms and new
And look at that.
to boldly go where no man has gone before.
There's news of next week's Star Trek movie in a moment, followed by comedy, open all hours.
There we go. So we know that the machine actually does work. So let's pull that off there. Right, so what we need to do is I will stop that now because I can have a look at the chat. Let's have a look at the chat. Right, well now I suspected that, to be honest, but you know, I just wanted to check it because, you know, as I'm checking things, I might as well be checking things. But yeah, I thought they would be. Cheers for that, Mark. But to be honest with you, fella, I'm actually pleased. I'm actually pleased that I have actually managed to get a picture on the old thing. I mean, what I need to do next is have a look at the manual and find out what's inside that couplet. Or couplet, whatever they call it. Find out what's actually inside that. I used a resistor. I'll tell you what value the resistor was. Now, I make no excuse for this, because I should know, but I can never read these things. So I put them on the meter. So we'll tell you what resistor it was. and I need to know what the capacitors are inside that, and I know there will be capacitors in that, but it's not even warm. That it's just open, isn't it? It's gone open on between 1 and 3. It's gone open, because if you connect it between 1 and 2, between 2 and 3, you get nothing. So 2 must be the common, and 1 must be the first component, and 2 must be the second. 3 must be the second component. That's what I'm thinking of on there. So we'll put this back onto resistance, onto the horseshoe mode, and that's 1.5k. 1.5k that resistor that I've been jamming in there. Anyway, I think to be perfectly honest with you fellas, I didn't think I was going to actually use this little monitor, you know. I took it in exchange for a music centre with a friend of mine, and I didn't think I was going to use it. I was going to plan on trading it with Jay for something. That was the idea of getting it, but you know, I may as well keep hold of it, because it's ideal for just keeping down there somewhere and then just lifting up when it's needed to just plug a video recorder in to test. So it's worthwhile for that, really. Oh yeah, I'm quite pleased. Let's see what Mark's saying, but I'm really, really happy. And I didn't just stumble on it, folks. I've spent a few hours. I have actually spent a few hours on this today. Well, this evening. I have got the service manual for it, Mark. I got the service manual this afternoon. And I paid particular attention to this area around. Let's bring the camera back down. I paid particular attention to this area here, and I just thought, well, I'll look at that, because these are known for playing up. I thought I'll look, see what gain is, see what's on this, and there was no gain in the middle. Well, it's not meant to be in the middle. I think that's ground. But we'll soon find. We can soon test that, because I can turn the machine off. We're not fully off. We've still got live somewhere, but we're in standby. So I can go to the continuity of the meter, and that's ground. And if I go to this side, absolutely nothing. And if I go to that side, absolutely nothing. And if I go to either end of the couplet, nothing. So we notice that's gone. Do us a cup of coffee, Christine.
Need sugar tomorrow.
Well, I'll do me a cup of coffee.
Can you get Mildred to get your sugar?
I won't get it now.
No, get him to get it tomorrow with his stuff.
He's doing me stuff tonight.
Where is he?
Just do me a cup of coffee. It's in the bedroom. Do me a cup of coffee. Oh. Blimey, man. Right, so none of this needs to be touched, and none of it has been touched. The only things I've played with it, apart from that there, just to see if it would, I've turned this little trimmer capacitor here. I've just trimmed that a little bit, just to see if that had anything to do with the colour in the picture search. But now I know the picture search is meant to be black and white. Thank you very much, Mark, for telling me that. But none of this here has been touched. None of these have been moved. The only ones I've moved is that one and that one. They're the only two I've moved. I didn't even move the expand, because I'm not sure what it does, so I didn't bother. Because I don't turn things for the hell of turning them. You know, that's what we've got screwdriver merchants for. But what we need to do next is I think we need to have a look at the manual. Yeah, we need to have a graze in the manual and find out what that couplet is and what's inside it. And what is it? I bet it's big capacitors. Let's see. I'm going to have to bend it this way to check. You know, I can't even see. Well, that's coming up as a DL, which stands for delay line. That's coming up as DL2. So this must be some sort of delay line. It's coming up as DL2. So we need to find out what DL2 is. What's in it, because that's DL3. That's coming up as DL2. So it must be, so it's not a couplet, it's a couplet even, it's a delay line. So I need to find out. I mean, I don't have to put exactly in there, I could just chuck that fucking resistor in and have done with it, but I want to do the job properly. Oh, I've got no biscuits. Got no biscuits, Mark. I don't want to eat biscuits. I've not long had my tea. And I'm not really hungry. So let's go and have a look. See if we can harvest any information from the service manual. See if we can harvest any information from the service manual. Right, so it would be nice, wouldn't it? We can get the information from the service manual. Downloads. SANYO. VTC 500. 5000 even. Right. So if I video circuit VL1 secret adjustment, V1 secret adjustments, V2 circuit adjustments. We're not going to mess with any of that. Where's the schematic? Tuner circuit, power supply circuit, mechanical, circuit board disassembly, circuit board locations, A and B. I'll tell you what, we'll go to circuit board locations. Hey, let's see if we can find it, shall we?
Yeah, Andy.
Cheers.
Right, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
You put that dryer on, Andy.
I'll put it on later, I said I would. You maverick fucker.
See you later.
Yeah, see you in a bit. Yeah. Right. $1.15, we've got a way to go yet. Get to these maintenance table. Yeah, it tells you time period. Video head. There actually isn't a time period on that by the look of that. Just when the video head wears out, I suppose. Or the audio head, pinch roller, because it labels it there in times. Never mind that, we don't want that, we're not here to look at it. Tells you all the stuff that you need for taking it to bits. Right, this is the... Right, here we are, let's zoom in. Zoom in, these are all your adjustments. Right, these are your adjustments here, so it tells what everything is. $104, yeah, they're your adjustments. That's the foil side of the board. So where's the component side? And load the alignment cassette. I can't do that because I don't have an alignment cassette. But I'm playing back the colour bar signal. Connect the oscilloscope to JP1011. Connect the trigger pulse for waveform observation. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. And adjust VR1 1017 so that the level difference between the waveform and channel becomes, yeah, B becomes 0. Yeah, right. Well, I can't do that. Why? Because I don't have an alignment tape. So we can't mess with that. We're not going to mess with anything because we're going to get this thing, we're going to replace the part that it needs. 96, but it's very well made, this man. It shows you everything. Because it didn't show me. I went through this earlier, but I had an idea that fault wasn't on that video amplifier when I started doing that tracing last night and that diagnosis, and found out. Tuner board 87, tells you how to service everything. It's really well made. Power supply, we don't need to mess with that. There's your sync board, SY1 board. There's your bloody big board on the bottom there, circuit board assembly. Disassembly, bottom circuit board, VD1 video, preamp, video audio and RF converter circuit. That's what that big board at the bottom does. That one we were looking for the bloody delay line on, and we'll probably have to go to the circuit, the schematic. DL3 I said it was, didn't I? DL3, so we need to find the schematic so that we can find DL3. I'm probably going to have to just, I don't know because I don't know what's in it. I'm going to have to well, let me go back to you lot for a minute. Right. So what we'll do, let's go to, we can look at the manual together. Oh, hang on. That's not the one. So what I need to do is add another one in there. So we'll click on add, window capture, there we are. Now I can go back to the manual now, and you guys are not left looking at nothing. Right, so I want to get to the circuit and I'll zoom in when I get there. This is mechanism at the moment. Yeah, this is all your mechanism. I want the schematic. There's got to be a bloody schematic here somewhere for it. I'd be surprised if there's no schematic. Right, what's this one here? That's the schematic for the power switching regulator section. That's your schematic for your regulator. That's all power supply. Power supply. Power supply. That's for your varicap. Is it varicap or variactor? Variactor tuning. Nope. Well, that ain't it. I hope there's a schematic in here. Parts list would be nice. That's an IC. That's IC 3301 microcomputer. That is that dirty big chip, which I believe is on that board there, that bottom board. I think that's what that is. Although I could be wrong. It could be the one. Could be somewhere else. Doesn't say where. All system control circuit SY1. Sorry, 5Y1. Is it? Yeah, SY1. Sync circuit. Yeah, that chip's on that sync circuit on that side panel. Right, that's your clock. Block diagram of timer circuit. We want to look at the schematic diagram. Record amp, video audio circuit block. Record and play, obviously. Audio service block record mode. The other one was play mode. Audio circuit block diagram EE mode. I need the schematic, real drive motor circuit. It's all broke down into bite-sized pieces. It's all broke down into bite-sized pieces. Right. Signal flow chart for rewind mode. Really? All that for the rewind mode? Wow. And that'll be for the fast forward mode. Obviously they're including picture search in that. You wouldn't need all that to turn the goddamn motor on. And that one's for, oh no it wasn't, that's for rewind search. Wow. And that's for fast forward search. Stop and pause mode, and there's got to be one for the play mode or still mode. That's pause, that's play mode, record mode. Wow. Loading unloading mode. They cover everything in here, don't they? I hope they give me a schematic for that bottom board. If they don't, I won't be pleased. System control unit. Oh, here we are. Control pulse circuit. That's for the play and record mode. We don't need that. We don't need any of that. All we need to know is what is that delay line, and can we put anything in place of it. Obviously I can jump it with a resistor and it will work, but I would rather do the job properly and know that the machine is going to work correctly. What's this? drum motor phase control. We don't need any of that because all that works, everything's working. Speed control for the drum motor. All that's working, we don't need to know any of that. And what we got here? APC loop, APC ID loop. See what it says at the bottom? Chroma system. Playback VD1. Now we're on the right board. Chroma system. Now we want to look. I'm going to zoom in here because this is the board of interest. This is the area of interest. This board here. Zoom out 1. Now. That'll do. Right, test signal generator. Yeah, that's a video signal, isn't it? So we don't need that. We don't need that. Video in. We want a bit further in than that because we want that delay line. We want delay line number 3. Pilot burst, blah, 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 blah. Come on, where are you? AGC amp, yeah, we're over the other side. We want to be over the other side. Record divider, PB playback counter, decoder, yeah, decoder. Nope, but we're still on the chroma system. We want to be on the video system. But I'm checking it all because I don't want to miss it. Chroma signal, chroma system, it's not there, it can't, I mean, it's actually in the luminous, it's in the luminance circuit, that DL3, DL, what did I say, it was DL2, DL3, it's in the luminous, it's in the luminance, this is the chroma. We've got quite a bit to go yet. Oh, here we are, video in. VCO. Wave shaper. Sample. There's no delay line. Killer amp. Record chroma. Where's playback? This is playback must be further in. I've not missed anything out on there, no. So playback, colour signal process, playback, colour signal process, playback. Right. So this is your colour signal for your playhead coming from your playhead. There's your head, and so that's not of interest because that's not what the fault is. Because the fault is that the fault isn't a colour fault. It's a luminance fault, and the luminance is here. DL. DL1003, 1003. Right. And is that the one? Let me just double check. Let me see. Let's turn this off actually. There we go. DL2, DL3 is there. That's DL3, that blue one. DL2 it is. DL2. Turn that meter off, I'm not a rich man. I mean, I won't be able to repair that DL2. It will have to be something, I will have to put something in place of it. Probably drop a cap or something in there, but I need to have an idea of the value. So there's DL3, DL103, so DL2 is going to be further in. There's a DL there, but it doesn't say which one, and that's going into a chip. Luminance process, DL, yeah, we're still on there. We want DL2. DL2. I mean, I don't know. I want to just see if there's any information it gives me as to what I can put in there. I mean, I've got nothing that I can put in there. Whatever I get, I'm going to have to try and buy it, and I think that's as much as we get. It doesn't. So where the fuck's the schematic? It didn't have any schematics in that manual, not much anyway. It only had the schematic for that particular board. It didn't really have much in the way of anything. Oh, how very disappointing. How very disappointing. Let's move. Go back up to the top. See, this is not going to tell us much. I certainly don't expect you guys to want to read all that rubbish. Well, it ain't rubbish, but you know what I'm getting at. It doesn't say anything about DL2. And there's no schematics in there, I've been right through it. There's no schematic, there's no schematic, and it doesn't show you there. Video circuit, it does show you the video circuit. So if we go to the video, so we go to 91, that's the video circuit. Come up a few pages. We're miles away from it yet. '91 we want. The 91. See, this is the board here. That's the foil side. That's the video and audio board. That's the foil side, and it doesn't show you. It doesn't show you what it is on there. It doesn't even show you delay line 3, whatever it was. It doesn't show you that. It just shows you all the adjustments. It doesn't show you 91 we want. Let's get to 91. It's just not showing me what I want. 98. 91. Where are you? 95. Oh, we're getting there. 4, 3, 91. Right. Right. SV1. Circuit board parts view. Well, that's what that. I'll tell you what that is. That is the little amplifier at the top, I believe. I think that's the little amplifier at the top, but I'm not sure. But 91 doesn't tell me. See, to do any alignment, you need an alignment cassette. And that manual's not really giving me any information. Get rid of that. That's not really giving me any information. It really isn't, folks. I'm not getting anything from that. No schematic diagram in there as such, none that I could find. Oh, by the way, if anyone wants to buy me a coffee, feel free. Don't have to. But if anybody feels compelled that they should, then don't worry about it, go for it. Right, so let's have a look at the chat then. And I can do that from here. So we got down to Mark saying on the biscuits, yeah. Umberto Vintage Passion. Hi mate, yeah, whoever that is, you're welcome anyway. First time I've seen that name. And we'll get rid of that there because we don't want things from sex sites on here, do we? We don't want that, so I'll get the. Can't do it from here, I have to do it from the phone. We're not into that. Why can't these foot dogs go to where they belong? Like a fucking dart pit somewhere, instead of going to respectable places like my channel. We'll soon get rid of them. Gone. Yeah, you're more than welcome, Umberto, absolutely. Right, so what can we do? Has anybody got any suggestions? Let's turn the machine off, because we're going to have to take this out anyway. And see, I don't know what's in it, you see. See, there's DL2 there. So that's DL2. The fucking hell's that one then? That's the one that's faulty anyway. Anyway, we'll get the solder sucker on. Get that on and we'll get him out of there. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Now that fucker there. It's going to be that fucker there. Just where that white nut thing is. That support. Standoff. Call it what you like. That's where it's going to be. Right. So we'll just wait for the desoldering sucker to warm up. Desoldering station. We'll wait for that to warm up. And once it does, we can take that out. And what I'll probably do, I'll probably just replace it with a couple of capacitors. It says DL2, but that one there says DL2. So are these, oh, DL1, sorry, that one. It's leg 2. So that's DL1, DL2. I wonder if I can measure DL1, I wonder if they're the same. I wonder if DL1 and DL2 are similar in some sort of description. And I wonder if they are, if I can measure, see what we've got across DL1, sorry, and just go work from there. So, right, well there's DL1, DL2. Right, well that's reading, I'm getting a reading on that. Well, fucking wasn't before. Getting a reading there. Unless I was, let's just check. Continue with ground. Hang on. There we go. So it's definitely ground. Nothing there. Obviously there. Obviously there. Nothing. So we are getting something there, but not a lot. We're actually getting 100k there. We're getting across from there to there. 8.3k. 8.32k rather. Let's see what we, this is a different one. Yeah, that's got more legs on it. Oh no, no it's not. I can't get to it that way. .3 ohms. .102k. 102k. Just check. 102k. Right. And this one. 100k or 1.10k, so it's 1k, isn't it? And this one, the fault's definitely here. And 7.3. So I wonder is, so let's put that resistor, so only one side that might be faulty. So let's bring this back down, switch it back on. Right. So let's try the first two pins. We'll see if we get a picture. No, we don't. And now let's just check somewhere. Yeah. Right. Let's check the other two. I'm just making sure we were on the correct. Right, so it's actually, I think it's this one here that's open, this side. Nope. What I'm going to do, because I haven't got the correct component, I'm going to put this one in. It does work. Hey, there's Brucey. It does work. So I'm wondering what I'm going to do, what I'm actually going to do, I'm not going to take that out. I'm going to leave it in, turn that off. I'm going to leave it in because there's no advantage to taking it out. I'm going to find my solder, because I should have some around here somewhere. I have a bloody big roll of it somewhere. How can you not spot a big roll of solder like that? There it is. So what I'm going to do, some of you are going to probably cringe, but what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to fit the resistor just on the top of the couplet. There's enough room. Let's turn the video off. There we go. There's enough room I'll just tack that a bit, let's put a bit of solder there. There we go. Move that down. And a bit on the end here. That's it. What we'll do next, we'll just put this one in because it works with it, so you know, and I'll make a note for future reference that this has to be replaced. And when I come across another machine which has got a worse problem that this has got, which I will eventually, I'll swap it out if it's got a good component, a good delay line in it. I'll swap it. But back in the day, folks, all these parts would have been available. Would have had no trouble getting any of this stuff back in the day. But unfortunately the day is gone, hasn't it? Unfortunately the day is gone, so if I leave the offending article in there, if I leave the offending article in, at least I won't lose it, will I? All we do, we just don't know whether that's even in. Yeah, it must be. Right, well, one way we're going to find out. Move that solder. Don't want to repair the machine and then bring it down onto a blob of solder, onto a chunk of solder and blow it up, do we? So, we'll put the screws back in soon. Right, there's our TV raster. And there we go. There you go, folks. Tracking works. Let's get there you go. Let's go to camera 4. I mean, I don't expect looks a bit red in the face, but remember it's the camera. To me that looks, let's turn the colour down a bit. I don't know which one it is. What these switches here do? Oh, that changes the... Yeah, that's the input. That's the underscan, overscan. And that's the black and white. See, that's taking the colour out of it completely. Brightness, no contrast rather. Brightness.
You were a complete chorus line. Tell the others what they missed. Right, well now, I promised you the very best on this show, and that's exactly what you have now. A true diamond. Ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur Bassett.
There you go. Well, that's about as best as I can get. The picture's not bad. I don't know the condition of this little monitor and whether it would be any better on a bigger screen. But let's rewind it. And this was done on a, what do you call it? Let's rewind the tape. Really what I could do with, I'm sure I've got another tape, you know. Let me have a look in my drawers. I'm sure I've got another beta tape somewhere. I'm certain of it. I know there's another tape somewhere. So I've got about 3 of them. But it's finding them. It's finding them. Oh. Do you want me to draw down here? No. No. Let's have a look at the chat. Where's the gossip? Good gossip. Have a look at the gossip. Right. Oh well, that shit happens, doesn't it? At least it happened during the football. Which is not worth watching anyway, is it? Let's be fair. Does the clock... I think the clock on this does set. And that opens there, it's just your tuner. And what time are we supposed to be? 7:04. There we go, 7:05. So the clock actually works. The counter works. Yeah, the memory, the little M comes on, it's gone, and it's gone to the beginning of the tape. I don't know what was on the beginning of the tape. Press play. Probably that Star Trek. BBC One. Yeah, that's lovely and bright, that picture. Yeah. Yeah, folks. Let's give you another look. That picture's lovely and bright. Why'd they pass the shit? Probably dirted the heads now. Can you believe that? Dirted the heads. I've actually dirted the heads. It's just... That'll clear up that. There we go. You just put your finger on it and it clears it. But that's lovely and bright. I mean, on a bigger telly it'd look better. Let's play the tracking. That's the tracking. So everything is working. And that's, there we go. That's about as good as we're gonna get, I'm afraid. About as good as we're gonna get. So basically we've got an open circuit or a component in that couplet gone high. DL delay line, sorry. So yeah. I'm gonna call it a success. Let's turn that power supply off, we don't need that on. I'm gonna call it a success. And do you know why I'm gonna do that? Because the damn thing now works. Now what I want to do next is start putting the grounds back on. Whoops. Let's start putting the grounds back on. I need to put all the screws back underneath as well. There should be, I'll do that in a minute. There should be a small screw, there it is. And that small screw I don't think that screw fits there actually. I might have to get a bigger one. That doesn't fit there. It's too short. So what we'll do, we'll stop the tape. Oh yeah, I could watch that, that's no problem. I could watch that. I could watch that, folks. If it was on a decent size, bigger telly. I mean, I couldn't watch it on that small thing. But oops, well, that'll do. But if it was, yeah, if it was on a bigger set, I could certainly watch it. Right. So what we need to do. It shows you where all the screws come from. They're not out there, they're out of the bottom case. These pink ones are out of the inside. Anywhere there's a mark, that's where a screw goes. Them big ones there off the bottom plate. Yeah, wherever there's a mark, there's a screw. Don't worry about. I mean, the picture will probably go even clearer when we put the bottom on properly. I mean, one of the lugs here is broke off because somebody's been careless with it in the past. In fact, all them are. Whoops. Speaking of being careless. Right. There we go. Whee. Right, we have a screw up here. Anywhere where there's a mark. Ah, there's a screw. So we'll put the screws in it now. Well, sorry it wasn't much of a fix, folks, but at least it's got it working. I mean, at the end of the day, what can I say? Where have you gone? Where did you go? Bastard, it's on the floor. Right. That landed right near my foot because I felt it, but when I look down there, but I won't be able to find it. We've got that one there. That one can go where that one's missing. Now we're alright there, that ain't going to go anywhere. Right. Where's me bottom? Could be answered. That could be answered in many different ways, folks. Right. Yeah, you could answer that in many different ways. And this is why we always turn things off when we put them back together, because when you come to putting big metal plates on, you don't want any power running in. Make sure that everything's out of the way, and it is. That's it. I'm going to put a couple of screws just to hold the bottom in place. Yeah. I don't know why they call it your bottom though, because it isn't really at the bottom, is it? Your feet are at the bottom and your head's at the top. Man, you'd look funny with your ass on where your feet were, wouldn't you? I'm happy with this, to be honest with you, because well, that just dropped into place neatly, didn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sell this to anybody. I wouldn't dream of doing that. You know, I wouldn't dream of selling a machine that wasn't 100% correct to anybody. But I won't sell this, I'll keep it. But if I was to sell it, I would still sell it in need of repair. Because you'll do there. Because what I've done is not exactly the repair, is it? It's just I've just got, it's just to sort of get you by, isn't it? Get you home. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that screw in the top, because it'll fit better. I wouldn't mind getting another one of these, because the front panel's a bit broken on the bottom. I think we've got a screw missing, but no worries. We don't cry over that. It's not there. No, that's not it, and that's not it either. That one. Oops. Bring this back. I think there was a screw missing when I got it. See, because that's fell out of there, you see. That's never going to hold. Oh no, there's the missing screw. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this one here. There we go. Screw that down there. That's it. And the pink one here. Just rest that there for a minute. Put that one in there. and that'll connect the bottom to the ground. There we go. And then that one that I thought was missing, it isn't, it's here. And in a minute we'll see if we can find a bit of sandpaper, which we've got, and we can clean the idler and everything. Give it a quick clean. And right, should get a better picture now. I'd say that's about right. Let's give you all a quick look so you don't think I'm giving you bullshit. There you go. Should we have a look at it on camera 3? Because camera 3 is a better camera for that. I think it is. There's camera 2. Let's get camera 3 out, see if it makes any difference. There you go. Doesn't really, does it? Causes a more refresh rate error. Of course it would do, wouldn't it? There we go. Get that back in there. Turn that back round. There we go, that'll do. Right. So what we'll do now, we'll go camera 4, I think. We'll have a look at the chat in a second. Camera 4. Right, what we want to do next. There. Let's bring this camera back round here. And my glasses have disappeared now, I know. I've just seen them fly off the side. There they are. Right. So what we're going to do now, guys and girls, what we're going to do now, we are going to leave the cassette housing in the up position, I think. Press that down. In fact, we don't need to do anything with that. We're not doing anything with that. That's good. Rewind. Don't need to do anything with that. That's gone okay. That's gone okay. Pinch holder's nice and clean. It was all done. Let's give the audio head a quick wipe. I can't find me, because that tape's got. You got to remember that tape's got mould in it as well. So yeah, the Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 2. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's all working. And the picture's not bad. I mean, it's not fucking it. It's not high definition. Don't get me wrong. Make no mistake about that. It ain't HD. But for what it actually is, I'm very pleased. You know, I mean, so if I can play about with the controls, that's the contrast, the brightness, there we go. There's the brightness, that's improved it for the camera, hasn't it? Look how nice that is. I mean, that's not bright enough for me to watch with naked eye. I've turned the brightness practically down. That's all the way down. And that's all the way up. But that's about right for the camera. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to let that play. I'm going to let that play in the background, make sure that it's a lasting repair, service if you like. What does that switch there do? It doesn't seem to do anything. What is it for? That one, but not the colour. It's for the phase. So, internal. Oh, what it is? It's for. You can actually put on it. You can actually, yeah. It basically fucks up the vertical, the horizontal, and the vertical. Yeah, that's what they're for. And that's NTSC. Yeah. And that's colour. Colour doesn't go all the way down, but there is a button next to it. Colour off. And that's about right for my viewing. Yeah, that's not bad. I've seen worse. Yeah, I've seen worse. I've seen worse than this old SANYO, I'll tell you that. Let's have a look at the chat. Add new wallpaper. Fuck off. Cancel. There we go. Good evening, Mark. Yeah. Yeah, that's. I'm quite pleased with that. I don't know what it'll record like. Probably like these machines did. Not very well, but not terrible. But not terrible either. You know, but in my opinion, and it is only my opinion, you know, I think BETAMAXs were better than VHS. know, I think Beta was better than VHS. The quality was certainly better. You know, oh hang on. Let's just stop this a minute. I've not put the not put the cover back on, have I? Not put the cover back on for this. Caution, do not remove centre nut. I might have to find some screws. Let's turn that off a minute. That went in that way there. Yeah. That went in that way. Take this one off. Yeah. Right. There. That comes round. There that goes down into there. Goes there, just goes there really. Should be another screw there, but it's not with it, so we'll just put this one in, it'll hold it. There we are. That's it. Yeah, that's in there, that's correct. Don't matter about that, only goes into plastic. That ain't going to go anywhere. Now where's the cassette? Where's the lid? You know, the lid that goes on here. Where did I bloody put that? I've got it, don't worry, it's not lost, it's just sort of temporary missing. It goes on last anyway. I have got that, it's here somewhere. I remember taking it off. Oh, there it is, it's up there. Yeah. There is actually a bit of a sense of achievement, you know, when you get it going. You know, you've rescued something. There's a screw missing from here, it's in the bedroom somewhere. Because I left all the screws in the lid and this has been propped on its end for God knows how long. And that's it. There we go. And this didn't have any screws in it. Oh yeah, no it didn't. The screws are missing on this, and I need to find some. They go under there, not worried about that for now. Let's have a look in me. See, that goes like that. Why is that turned that way? Pop that on there. See, that goes there like that. Hey. There we are. Put it there for a minute. I just need to find a couple of screws to go in there because I know they weren't in it last night. Let's have a look in me quality street tin. Just 2 small screws. There's 2 here, but I'd prefer to use machine screws if I've got them. But if I haven't, I'll just use them. There's 1 machine screw. Make sure they don't go through the hole. If they don't, there's 1. See, I'd prefer to use machine screws if I've got them, but... And I think that's 2. So we'll find another one with a bit of a lip on it. There's 2 screws, are exactly the same. Look like they could have been made for it. They probably bloody were. Right, put that back there. Get the old. Now that meant to go there. That's it. Yeah, that's right. It is level. And these do use machine screws. Not over tighten them, because we don't want to damage the plastic. It's supposed to be double-sided tape on that, but that went long ago. I wouldn't imagine I'm the first that's it. I wouldn't imagine I'm the first guy in here. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of clearance. As long as we don't hit the top of the tape, we're a good ½ inch away. And that'll just sit in there. Is that the way it went? Don't suppose it matters. There we are. Hold on. There you go. And there's... I like that little telly, I think it's cute, that little monitor. Do you know now we've got the covers on it, the pictures looks better. The picture's actually better. Since we put the covers on, it's gone sharper, gone clearer. There you are, folks. I won't run too much, that could get copyrighted. If it does, I'm not bothered. Yeah. I'm going to leave that running. That front's not too bad. I mean, the LED's a bit loose. It could do with the LED tightening, but I'm not pulling all that back apart again just to piss about with the LED. It can stay like that. The main thing is, where's my phone? The main thing is, where's my freaking phone gone? But the main thing is it's working. Where's Where's my damn phone? I've not screwed this together and left my phone in it, have I? Won't be the first time. Shit. You know, I hate it when you can't find something. Especially your phone. It was here a minute ago. Where the hell have I put it? No, not onto the floor, have I? And it's not on charge. It's here somewhere. I wanted to look at the chat and I can't because I can't find my phone. I'm trying to find my blooming phone. Shit. Well, I've not left this room with it, so I know it's in here somewhere. I just hope I haven't fastened this up and left my phone in it somewhere. It's not there. I thought it was on top of that little oh, it said it slid off. It was on top of the little telly, it slid off. Slid off the little telly there down the back of it. For a minute I thought I left it in here somewhere. Well, they were underrated, but the point was there were better machines. You know, that's what I never understood, Mark. You know, why did people want VHS? You know, when they could have these. These were better machines. They were. You know, the video tape rental had a lot to do with it, because the movie manufacturers back to VHS instead of Betamax, or Betacord as these are known, because the only people that could officially use the word Betamax was Sony, because they invented it. So all the other companies that made compatible machines had to call them Betacords, but they're the same thing exactly. But I always found the picture quality on Betamax machines to be far better. You know, the definition on them was really good. It was, you know, the machines were well made. You know, which is a testament, because this one, it's still here. Yes, I've had to repair it, but it's still here. And it was only that little delay line that was faulty. You know. And this machine, it doesn't owe me anything, because I got it given. I got it off Steve, who comes on a Sunday. I got it off Steve from the Vintage Electronics Long Stay Workshop. I got it off him. He come up one night with 3 of them, 2 SANYOs and a Sony. And let's just stop that clock flashing. There we go, counter. You know, but you know, they're good machines. I mean, but the longer this is on, the picture seems to, since I put all the metalwork back on and put everything back as it should be, the picture's gone clearer. Obviously, because we were getting noise because of it being ungrounded and the shielding being removed. But now all the shielding's back on. You know, the picture's really nice. I mean, you can't see it through the camera as nice as I can see it, but I can tell you folks, I could happily sit and watch. You can just get a glimpse of it through camera free. Although, you know, that distortion that you can see moving about, it's not. I don't get that, because that flashing, I don't get that. Obviously not. But yeah, I think Betamax were better than VHS, and a lot of other people think that. But it was you know, it was the companies that made the movies who backed VHS as the format to win, and that's why it won. Go and watch Techmoan, not right now, like, but yeah, but watch Techmoan sometime. He does a full thing on it. Yeah, I did as well. Well, that's right. The battle. Yeah, that was the Battle of the Speeds. That was the Battle of the Speeds between 45 and 33. But then again, at the end of the day, there was no winners there, was there? Because the 45 was taken up as the medium for putting quick, catchy singles on to go into the music chart, and the LP was aimed at serious music listeners. You know, people that wanted to listen to, well, back then, a symphony or a full collection, if you like, of an artist's records. Because I don't think artists made that many back then. You could probably fit what they made on one LP. You know, with reasonable quality. And I think, you know, so really that was a double-edged sword. That was a format nobody was going to win, but also a format that nobody was going to lose, because you know, 45s, yeah, they were great for the charts, and they were great for putting in jukeboxes. You know, the LP was great for people who were serious about listening to music. You know, and 45s were seen as disposable, whereas LPs were seen as collectible. And now it's a bit of both, isn't it? They're all collectible, but you know, all the 45 RPM was a shrunken down version of the 78 RPM single. Although 78s were never referred to as singles, to all intents and purposes it's exactly what they are. One record on either side. Some of them didn't even have a record on the B side. I've got one of them knocking about somewhere. No record on the other side. Yeah, it is. It's crazy, isn't it, Mark? You know. And what's Mark saying here? Because I used to, but they released singles, but also bought them the LP they came from. Well, yeah. I've always seen that. I've never really liked that idea. Pinching singles off an LP. I think it's rather conning the public, that, you know, and up until the late 60s, George Martin, who produced the Beatles, he didn't like doing that. He didn't like taking singles off out, putting singles on albums, and even he said it was conning the public doing that. But you know, it goes on now. It has done since the late 60s. So, well, it's probably always gone on, but certain things, certain people did it, certain people didn't. But I would hate the idea of going out and buying a single, or should I rephrase? I'd hate the idea of going out and buying a single. I would hate the idea of going out and buying an album just to get one record that the manufacturers told me that it was never going to be issued as a single, and then 2 weeks later you find out that it's been issued as a single. That's happened, and that definitely is conning the public. And I think at the end of the day, if people are gonna fucking do that, then they're in the wrong industry. But yes, I don't like. You know, I collect both. I collect both. I don't really collect 78s, because the only 78s I've got are George Formby. I only collect his. I don't collect anybody else's. But I do enjoy record collecting. I used to, back in the day, I used to spend my Saturday mornings with my pocket money in the record shops, or any money I earned. I used to save it until I had enough to go. I very rarely, when I was a child, when I got to a certain age and I could walk into a record shop, I very rarely ate sweets as a kid. I mean, I make up for it now because I love them, but I very rarely, and I've always had a sweet tooth, but I very rarely ate sweets because I used to save my money and I used to buy records with it. And I used to smoke as well, but of course I used to pinch them out of my mother's fag packet. Never touched my dad's. He used to count his. Mind, I'm not surprised. He used to smoke them full strength Capstan, and they are very, very, very strong. He used to kill, because it was so expensive. He used to count them. But me and Aunt Willie, we used to pinch his dimps and roll them up. You know, we used to wait until he was no longer needing them. We used to snaffle them. And we used to roll them up, break them up and roll them up. You know, but yeah, I used to think it was and I still do. I'll be honest with you guys and girls, I think it's unfair that a manufacturer, that a record company brings out a single or brings out an LP, and then you buy the LP just to get the single you want, just to get the song you want, and then they tell you that they're not releasing that as a single. They say nothing from this LP will be released as a single, and then they go and release a single. You know, they take 2 records off it, one for a B-side and one for an A-side, and they release. You know, speaking of which, how many people like a B-side? You know, hands up all those who like certain B-sides. I mean, I think certain B-sides are better than the A-side. And I was in a disco one night. I think it was a wedding anniversary or a birthday party. It was one of my ex-in-laws. They were having a bit of a shindig. And obviously me and Christine got invited, so we went. And I walked up to DJ. And I said to him, I said, have you got to do the Huckle Book by Coast to Coast? He says, yeah. So he dug it out. He said, yeah, there it is, mate. I'll put it on next. I said, well, don't put that on. I said, flip it. He said, what? I said, flip it. I said, play the flip side. He said, the B-side? I said, yeah. I said, have you ever played the B-side of that record? He says, no. I said, well, you're in for a treat then. So play the B-side. So anyway, he played the B-side. He put his thumbs up, like, you know. And he called us over and I had a bit of a chat with him. He says, oh, he said, I've had that for years, he says. I didn't even know it was that good on the other side. The B-side was called Telephone Baby. And it's got like a 50s sound to it. It's done in the traditional 50s manner. And it sounds really, really good. And I think it's one of those records where it's better than the A-side. I do like the A-side, but I think the B-side's a better one. They should have released that as the fucking A-side. Yeah, yeah, I'm not a big lover. Well, the only double A I don't like, and I think it's fucking crap. Why they put it on with it, I don't know. Mull of Kintyre was one of the best-selling singles, if not the best-selling single, of the 1970s. It was in the charts for about fucking 9 weeks or something, probably even longer. If anyone knows exactly, let me know. I think it was 9 weeks, but I'm not sure. Not without getting the book out of the cabinet there and checking it up in the Guinness Book of its singles, which I class as the oracle of all music books when it comes to looking up a record. It's all in there, but you can do it on the you can do it on the old computer web now, can't you? You know, but I still get the book out now and again because I'm old-fashioned. I mean, I can probably find a record in the book quicker than it can be found on there. You know, but I think it was in the charts for about 9 weeks at number. I think it was number 1 for 9 weeks. One of the best-selling, if not the best-selling record of the 1970s. And what did they put on the back as a double A side? A fucking horrible song called Girls' School. I mean, why couldn't they have put something? I mean, it was Wings, for fuck's sake. Why couldn't they have put something really good on the back, like Band on the Run or something like that? You know, one of their earlier records. Why did they stick something like that on the back of it instead of Girls' School? A fucking hell was Girls' School. It's a horrible song. It's rubbish. Good evening, SDEX. Glad to have you with us. Glad to have you with us, sir. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, and I don't know how long you've been watching, but as you can see, the old SANYO video recorder, as you can see, is now working. Now working. That's been on for what? It's been on for, well, it'll stay on until this film finishes, and then that's a good test of a machine, isn't it? You know, if it's gonna fail, it's gonna fail in the well within the time it takes to play this tape. Yeah, because I've got some more machines in the bedroom. I might bring them through tomorrow, do a video recorder Sunday. They're not broken, or at least they weren't when they were put there. They are working. I think it's a 3V31 or something like that. Video bad. It's Radio Rental's version of a Ferguson Video Star 3V's fucking something. Can't remember exactly which one, but it's a good one. It's the one with the two rollers, the two guide rollers on the top that guide the tape into the machine. And if it doesn't grip, they don't load your tape. You have to push them in by hand. Yes. What's Mark Anderson put? I've just seen a big message flash up there. Yeah. Yeah, well that's right. You know. Yeah, to me they were just something to just fill the other side, but as you have quite rightly said, a good deal were much better and should have been flipped to the A side. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, every record I've got 2 big boxes there full of them. I've got boxes in the bedroom full of them. I used to have a jukebox that had 100 of them in it, which I've not got anymore. I think I sold the records to Mildred as well, because I've had doubles of them. Because the jukeboxes were no respecter of your records. Apart from NSM ones, they seem to do alright, because the only part of the record that the mechanism touched was the label. The only bit that was touched by the stylus was the groove. The only part of the groove that was touched was the groove that was touched by the stylus. And as long as you kept on top of the styluses that were in there, style eye rather, because there was 2 of them in them, then you never had a problem. But Roamis and Wurlitzers, yeah, they don't half scuff your records up, and some of them just slam them onto the turntable, not even gentle with them, just bang them straight on if they're a bit worn. But yeah, yeah, a lot of you know, a lot of B-sides, yeah, were better than the A-side. That's absolutely. There's another one. There's another one. It's on the back of a Bobby V record. It's called "Walking with My Angel," and it's the B-side. And I think the A-side. Now I could be wrong here. There is a possibility. I could be wrong. The A-side is run to him. I'm sure it is. I could be wrong. Correct me. You feel free, because I'm thinking I'm wrong there. But I'm sure the A-side is run to him, and the B-side is Walking with My Angel. And what a record! What a B-side! You know, if you haven't already, guys and lasses, you know, take the good time and trouble to sit there one night, get your little dance set or whatever out, or your Chinese crappy player, and just sit there one night and go through your B-sides. You'll be amazed at what you'll find. Another one the Wurzels did, I Am a Cider Drinker. The B-side of that's called The Back of My Old Car, and that's quite a comical one. That's not bad. I could think up loads I could think up loads of really good B-sides, and you know, a lot of the B-sides, a lot of the Beatles B-sides were good, because Beatles singles were never included on albums until the late 60s, and the B-sides weren't either, or very rarely. So a lot of the B-sides, you know, the only way to get the B-sides was to buy the single, and a lot of the B-sides were as good as the A-side. It's like going back to the 78 era. George Formby B-sides were as good as his B-sides were as good as his A-sides. You know, they just were. And there's a few other, like you said, ABBA. A lot of their B-sides are good. The Sweet, they did some good B-sides. You know, a lot of them did. You know, I mean, now and again you'll come across one. Now I thought my picture had gone off then. It's not. It's a Starship Enterprise. No, it's still there, as you can see. Thought it got off then, because all I could see looking at the camera there was, at the monitor, was grey. And I thought, I just looked at it there. No, it's still on. And the sound is still on. It's just that I've turned it down. But yeah, that'll go in with the repaired section now of machines that actually work. I've got an Hitachi as well, a VT16E. Good evening, Harvey. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they should, shouldn't they? No, do you know something? They are something I never come across, you know. If I did, because I know a lot of people want them over here, I'd probably auction it. Or there again, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably even keep it. But you don't get them over here, and it's a shame, really. I mean, look at the BSR ones that were made here, but you try finding one. They were mainly aimed at America, as you say. I'll tell you what I have got, which I want to get started on soon. I've still got the RCA player, which only plays large old singles, inch diameter singles. It only plays those. I've got a case in the bedroom. I found a case which used to have a homebrew record player, which was basically, it wasn't really homebrew. It was the case was a Caliphone tape recorder or cassette recorder, which was crap. It already had 2 speakers in it, which I believe it still got. It was mono though, but it had 2 speakers in parallel. I put an HMV amp in it and a Garrard SP25, but I broke it up because I used the amp for another project to go in another record player, and I used the SP25. Did I know I sold the SP25? My friend, no longer with us, Fred, he bought the SP25. Why have I suddenly got... Oh, it's made that way. I was going to say, why have I suddenly got a black and thingy bar at the top of the screen? It's the way it's been filmed, that part of the thing. Go to full screen again in a minute, yeah, because I thought a bit of my picture had disappeared. It hasn't. Hang on. Oh. But yes, I think... yeah, I think they should release a B-side compilation on an album. On a vinyl album, that is, a vinyl record. I think they should do that, yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, Mark, you know, people take the piss when they're selling stuff nowadays. People take the piss, they really do, mate. I mean, because it's like certain transistors, because us radio guys want them. The people who've got them, they want like £3 or £4 a transistor. You could buy a fucking bag of the fuckers back in the day for that. And it weren't that long ago you could do that either. It was only 10, 15 years ago you could do that still. But eBay's fucked everything up. You know, I have very little respect for eBay. I only use it for buying. I won't let them make any money out of me. They've got no chance of making money out of me. And I mean, they've got more chance. They've got more chance of pissing in King Charles's pocket than making any money out of me. And that's not, so you can gather from that they ain't going to get anything. It's never going to happen. But at the end of the day, you know, they fucked everything up. Because as soon as that fucking eBay came along, the prices of everything went fucking up. Not immediately, but almost immediately. The prices of everything overnight. I mean, look at Dansette record players. You can get them at the car boot sale at one time. You could buy them for £1. You know, and if it was a really nice one, you'd give maybe a £5 or a £10 for it. Where did they get off wanting £500 and £600? You know, I don't understand how they get off on that. I mean, I've sold a few Dansettes, as we all know. I've got rid of a few, and I've always been sort of generous with my price. You know, I mean, they're worth whatever I want to sell it for. You know, I've currently got one up for £130. Somebody offers me 90 quid. It's theirs. I don't mind. You know, I'll take a big knock on it to see it gets a good home. Somebody wants it they offer me a price that I find acceptable, then I'll take that. I'm not greedy, and there's no need to be, but some people are, and that annoys me. Yeah, we're working lovely there. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. As you can see, Harvey, the SANYO is finally working. Yeah, I had a what do you call it last night. After I'd done the diagnostics, and I got sorted out, went to bed and whatnot. By the time I went to bed, and I was having a good long think about it while I was laying there before I was drifting off. Having a good long think of what it could be, and I got up this morning, and I said to myself, "Self, you're going to get that fixed this morning, well, this afternoon or tonight, you're going to get that fixed today." And it's done. I mean, yeah, it would have helped put the right part in, but unless you find another machine with that part, you're not going to get that. So I just stuck that 1K resistor in. Just over 1K, works beautifully. And that resistor was just sat on top of my solder station. I didn't go in my drawer to get it. in my tray to get it. It was just there because I thought, well, if, you know, I'll just bridge it with that. See if it's a gain problem, and it was. That's open. Well, I say couplet, it's not really, it's actually a delay line. But obviously we're not getting too much. We're not getting over luminance or anything, so you know, that's picture's really good. It's watchable. I mean, the clarity of it, yeah. You come off the BBC, you don't know how clear how good the person's television aerial was that recorded it. Well, really, we're really at the end of the day, if I paid £25 for my dance set, and most people who were at Goldborn that day that know me, that even watched this, know what I paid. I don't hide the fact. I paid £25, factor in a couple of hours of my time, a few new caps, a handful of caps, a couple of resistors or whatever it was, and reassembling it, because it did come in bits, reassembling it, sort of servicing the changer. Couple of hours of my time, is it? Yeah. I think it's worth every penny of 130. It's one of the nicest ones you'll find, electronically, that is. And if somebody offers me considerably lower, like 90, 190, yeah, I'd take it. They'd own it for that one of them prices. I mean, of course I would, because I'm not greedy, and but I just don't understand where they get off. £500 for a dance set. There was one on Fleabay not long ago. Somebody was talking about, I think it was Simon, I can't remember. It might have been Simon, or it might have been you, Mark. He hasn't been on tonight, has he, the Simon? I wonder what the Simon's doing tonight. He might have met a pieman. Anyway. Yeah, he's not been on to, unless he's sat there listening. He hasn't come in yet. But, yeah. It was either you or him mentioned it. There was one on a battery one on eBay, and I went and had a look at it, and it was nothing special. All it was a battery version of the Conquest, of the non-automatic Conquest. It was just a It was just a battery version of the non-automatic Conquest. That's all it was. Nothing special. Like I say, I've had about I've had 3 or 4 of them battery dance sets. I got £250 for one of them. I got £80 for the other. I've got about £80 for the third one as well. And I don't really bother with them now. I don't really bother with them. As far as I'm concerned, whether it's a dance set or whether it's a Fidelity, the only ones I really like to get the good price for is the Hackers and Bushies, and some of the higher end HMV ones. I like to get a decent amount for those, because they're worth a decent amount. They'll certainly last a lot longer than any of these things you can buy nowadays. After they've been through my hands, they will anyway. That's for sure. So let's see what the chat's are doing then, and see what the chat's doing, shall we? I'll be going soon because it's getting on a bit now. Oh, football, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you saying, Mark, £3 donation, that wasn't bad. You know. Yeah, was it you, Mark, who said it? Yeah. Yeah, it was a TRG 45. But it uses the same 3 transistor amplifier as all the other dance set players. They've all got the same amp in them. You know, and there's nothing special about them. I mean, they don't sound any better. In fact, actually, the Valve versions sound better. Because they've got some real oomph going into them, some real titty going into them. But the battery ones, you know, I've had a few of them and I've got rid of them. You know, in fact, there's one on my, if you go down to my, one of my very first videos, which was done on a stills camera, well, predominantly a stills camera, back in 2007 or 2008, you will actually see one on there, a green one, a green dance set with a little single play Monarch in it. That was one of the ones I sold for 80 quid, and it had the box with it as well. That had the box with the original box with it. You know, I mean, a dance set rip-off merchant would have loved to have got hold of that with the box. I'm surprised that nobody started making the bloody boxes and selling them. They seem to try and replicate everything else. And I mean, yeah, but some things do need replicating, like grills and knobs and vents and stuff. Yeah, I'm all for that. And there is a guy on eBay, Gary, I can't remember his name. I've had a couple of things off him, and his 3D printing is second to none. It's nice and thick and chunky, and it does the job. And you can't tell it's not the original until you pull. He bought some. A guy who I did some work for, like called Andrew Oldham. I did a dance set junior for him, and I broke the knobs getting them off, or broke one of them. Broke one of the knobs getting it off. Sometimes it happens. You can't avoid it. You know, if you wanted servicing, you know, if you're gonna send the whole thing to me, and I break the knobs getting them off, you know, they've been on there all them years. There's a good, you know, there's a 50-50 chance whether the knobs break or not. If they break, it's not my problem. But at least we can now source new ones, and he got some new ones. And they weren't expensive. I forget how much he paid, but they weren't expensive. And once they had the little brass top hats on them and everything, you know, until you pulled them off and looked at them, you couldn't tell. You know, nobody would have spotted them until they pulled them off. Because he brought it here to show me, and he wanted the cartridge changing, so I did the cartridge while he was here. And you know, that was a dance set junior deluxe. I don't know which is the deluxe bit on them. I never worked that out. But on the dance set major deluxe, it's the light that lights the dance set badge up. That's your deluxe bit. Yeah. You know, they use the word deluxe as a term that you're gonna get something more, but you don't really. Yeah, you know, but even with the amplifier add-on, are they worth 200? Are they worth 300 quid? You know, I don't think they are. They're just worth the cost of 2 record players, aren't they? You know, we all know my prices, what I pay for them, or what I like to pay for them. But you know, can I be honest with you folks, right? Give me some fucking woodworking tools, a workbench, some fucking glue and some fucking plywood, and I could knock them boxes up dead easy. I could knock them amps up dead easy. I can still buy the Rexine. There's a place called Roachford's in Stockport that sell it. You can still buy Rexine in them colours. You can still get the speaker cloth and grills, stuff like that. You can still get all that. And the amplifiers. You can the amplifiers are easy enough to make. You know, if there's an amplifier in the speaker, some of them don't have it. Some of them do. You know, some of them have an amplified speaker, some of them don't. Some of them are stereo. They have the two amps. Some of them have the amp in the speaker. Some have both amps in the main unit. Like the Dansette Trent that has the amps in the main unit. All it is just two Dansette amps. Driven by ECL 82s, if I remember rightly. And the speaker clips onto the front, and it's a speaker. There's nothing in it except a speaker. Then they do the stereophonic, which is basically an auto conquest with two amps in it. And that doesn't have anything in the speaker. I had one of them as well. I sold that, complete with the amplifier. Well, with the extra speaker. And some of them, you get the odd one where the extra amplifier is built into it. Or you can buy the extra amplifier and plug it into it, because the extra amplifier, for the ones like the Bermudas and what, I've never seen one. I've never seen the external amplifier for the Bermuda Mark 1. I've never seen one. I don't know whether they ever made any. I don't know. They must have done. But I've yet to see one. The so-called Bermuda Mark 2, I've seen an extra amp for one of them. But all the companies back in the day were at it. You know, back in the late 50s, stereo was coming in. 1957, stereo was coming in. Reliable stereo was coming in. So everybody was on the bandwagon making stereo amplifiers. If they couldn't make if they couldn't incorporate the amp in the unit, it went into the speaker. A bit like that bed that I'm selling to Chesterfield Charlie. Well, not selling, dealing it with him for some other units. And you know, that has an amp inside the record player, but if you've got the extra speaker, it has the amp inside that has an extra amp in there for the other channel, but comes wired with a stereo cartridge. What I've done, because the chances of finding a bed amp are going to be very slim, even for Chesterfield Charlie. So basically what I've done, I've just wired it for mono, as if it's a mono record player, because all intents and purposes is exactly what it is. It's a mono record player. And what else? You know, a lot of people who buy dance sets and pay that kind of money for them, they buy them because their parents had one when they were a kid. You know, nostalgia. And you know, you'd be surprised. You know, hang on, let's just have a look at the. I wouldn't pay it. You know how I love them. Yeah, I know. Well, I wouldn't expect you to pay it. I wouldn't either. There's nothing really more to it than the name, just like Reebok trainers. Well, that's right. You had to be seen with the branding. That's right. The important part to me is the actual deck, as you say. You can knock a wooden box together up any time, and a box made of wood is It is no one's brand unless it is made from oak. You know? But but basically, basically at the end of the day, I think anybody who pays that kind of money for a dance set, I think they're fools. And they've got more money than they've got brain cells. And they need to have their marble bag looked at. Marble bag, sorry, not bay, marble bag. They need to have their marble bag looked at. Because they've obviously got a couple of marbles rolling around up there. But, I like to get them at a sensible price. And that way I can ask a sensible price. Because, but you tend to find that with the people who put these things on Fleabay and they sit there waiting, they're there a long time. You'll see that they disappear and then they come back a couple of months later or a week later or something. The same thing's back on. Because it never sold and they leave it for a week or a month or whatever and put it back on again. I just chuck mine on Marketplace, leave them there. Every now and again I check them. If they need relisting, I relist them. Doesn't cost me anything, they can sit there forever. Because eventually you get that magic message. We've also got a hacker down here to get finished as well. I'm going to order the capacitors for that soon. Next time I get a bit of dosh, we'll get the capacitors for that ordered. The mains mover, get that ordered, get that in, and we can start working on the. I'll test it all on the bench, set it all up on the bench with the with the signal generator. I've got a deck. I've decided what deck's going in it, and I've got it all prepared, ready to go. I'm going to work on the cabinet, give the cabinet a really good scrub and a good clean, and I've got some stain up there. I'm going to restain the cabinet, exposed wooden parts of the cabinet, and then I'm going to go. Well, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go for a piss, and then when I've had a piss, I'm going to come back. But after I've done all that, I'm going to varnish the cabinet, just the wooden portions. I've got some yacht varnish down there. What I'll do, I'll give it a coat of that, a couple of coats of it, and give the speaker grill a respray, and it'll be good to go again. Oh dear. There's one of my things on the floor. There we go. Well, that machine's happily still happy, isn't it? So someone outside with a loud stereo. Anyway, never mind. Let's have a look. You see, at the end of the day, You know, at the end of the day, all it does, it plays records. Just that some do it better than others. But that's all it does at the end of the day. It plays records. And some do it better than others. But yeah, we're going to get onto the ACCA. And we're going to get the ACCA done. I've got another ACCA there, which is a nice one. I'm going to probably end up keeping that. I've got a black box. I think I need to put a plug on that. I can't remember if I put one on. We've got a nice black box there, which is all lovely and working. It's the transistor version. I wonder why they called it the black box and it's in a brown cabinet. And the amplifier's not even black, it's silver. So I don't understand why they called it the black box, but they did. I suppose it's as good as any name, innit? Yeah. 827. Wow. Yeah, it's running fine. Yeah, I'll give you all a quick look. A quick update, shall we say. Let's go to camera 4. You can just see it on the little monitor there. Now if we go to camera 4 and bring the camera 4 down to the... There you go. So turn the brightness down a bit, because it's a bit bright for the camera. Ooh, what's that? Looks like a blob of shit, doesn't it? There we are. That's about right. Yeah. That's good. That's playing absolutely beautifully. Yeah, and the sound is still working.
Since gone. If she couldn't obey, she's finished.
So are we, it looks like.
There we go, you see. Yeah, I could get really big-headed here and say when I fix them they stay fixed, but I'm not going to do that because I'll say that and it'll go bang. But that's the fix for them, I think, because there's no way on earth you'll find one of the delay lines. Yeah, the pie iconic. I like the look of the pie, but cheers, Mark. Well done. I'd be really proud of that work you've done. Oh, I am. I'm proud of everything I do. Oh, absolutely. You know. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always proud of what I do. I take pride in what I do, and I like everything spot on. But that's me, and that's how it should be. And there we go. That's it. Don't need any more brightness than that. I've turned it up now for my eyes, not for the camera. But yeah. You know, like I've always said, you know, strive for perfection in everything you do. I can remember as a 15-year-old child, I was in a care home in Nantwich near Crewe. And one day I got the minibus driver that we were going home on home leave. We used to go home every weekend. And with this particular Friday, I says to the minibus driver, can you let me out just before the station? He never questioned it. He just says, yeah, okay, Andy, no problem. So he stopped the bus, I jumped out. Said goodbye to everyone, see you Sunday night. And I shot off and I went for a walk around Crewe. And I eventually ended up, it was a red hot sunny day, I can't remember obviously the day, it was the middle of summer. It was a red hot sunny day, it was 1981, it was a red hot sunny day, and I spotted the Rolls Royce plant in Crewe, Rolls Royce and Bentley place, the factory. It's where the cars were made. And I walked in. The big doors on the front were wide open. Anybody could have walked in. You could hear the radio, like they had the radio on. And there was a few cars outside. And I waltzed into the place. No one asked me. I was surprised actually. I wish I could do it today. I'd have had a camera with me. But back then, obviously, cameras that we use now didn't exist. Even camcorders pretty much were a thing, were an unknown thing. I think they were still waiting to exist. I walked in, I looked up, and there was two big signs, one behind the other. The first one was "Strive for perfection in everything you do." I think it was Sir Henry Royce's motto, favourite motto. And the other one was "Take whatever exists and make it better." And I've always remembered that. And I'd have walked through the place and nobody said out to me. You know, and you could see them all beavering away, you know, happy in their work, you know. Building these very expensive motor cars, you know, and yeah, you know, but it never made me interested in wanting to go into building motor cars, like, but it was a nice thing to see, and I was surprised actually that nobody said anything to me, but nobody said nothing to me. If they had have done, I don't know, I would have just said, well, the doors were open and I was interested, so I waltzed in. If I'm not allowed, then I'll leave. It's not a problem. I would have left, but nobody said out to me. You know, and a few people looked round at me, but nobody said nothing. I just carried on looking. I was amazed by the stuff that was going on in the place, and everyone's happy in their work. You know, and you know, yeah. You know, the guy. There was one guy in there, and he made the stainless steel radiator grill, and he signed every one he made, and they were soldered together. You know, there was no plating on them or anything. They were soldered together, and they were buffed up to a mirror shine. You know, yeah. Just shows, you know, fucking. That's why they were expensive motor cars, because the bloody things were hand built. You know. And Rolls Royce, you know, they never disclosed how powerful their engine was. If you asked them, they'd just say it was sufficient. You know, if you asked them what the horsepower was, they just told you it was sufficient. You know. In fact, if you go to the dictionary, look up the word sumptuous, it will actually say see Rolls Royce. Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, that's what they said. If you asked them, you know, they wouldn't tell you. They wouldn't tell you. Just said it was sufficient. And I suppose that's all you needed to know, wasn't it? You know, and I thought it was funny when it said, you know, you know, if you look up the word sumptuous, in the dictionary, in the Oxford Dictionary, it'll see Rolls Royce. Yeah. I mean, we all judge everything by Rolls Royce, don't we? It's the Rolls Royce of this or the Rolls Royce of that. You know, we all judge everything by that. In fact, Brough, who made the Brough Superior motorcycle, he was actually word got around that he was saying that it was the Rolls Royce of motorcycles, and I think it was Charles Rolls. It was one of them was killed in an air crash. I forget which one. It was either Henry Royce or Charles Rolls was killed in an air crash. But the one that survived actually went to the Brough Superior factory and looked at the engineering, and he actually got Rolls Royce's endorsement, and he could legally say that and put it in his. He could legally say it, and he could put it in his documentation, because he'd been given approval by Rolls Royce themselves. Another one that was allowed was Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce in Thunderbirds. That was also agreed by Rolls Royce, and they could legally put the Rolls Royce grill and the Flying Lady on it, the Spirit of Ecstasy, to give her a proper name. But they're the only two as far as I know. There was a place in the Netherlands, there was a place in Sweden, and it was a whorehouse, and it was called the Rolls Royce of Pleasure. Needless to say, Rolls Royce had them take it down, the sign that is. You know, they were ordered to remove the sign. Yeah, very interesting. You know, very expensive handmade vehicles. And when you see how they're being made, then you know why they're expensive. You know, because they're not, you know, they don't come down a lift. They don't come down a car body lift with 1,000 on at a time. They make so many units, and that's for the whole world. They make so many units for the world, and then, you know, they make so many specials. You know, so many one-offs where they might make 12. They might make 12 vehicles for the whole world. You know, and put a fancy interior in them and stuff. You know, a bit like Ferrari. They do it, don't they? They make a few oddballs, and you have to agree. You know, I think when Ferrari did the F40, I think it was, they made so many for the whole world, and you had to agree. You had to agree to keep the car for 5 years. You couldn't just buy it and then go out and sell it. You had to agree to keep it for 5 years. You know, I suppose in a way that's right. It could be argued, well, it's your property, and you can do what you please. Not if you enter an agreement, you can't. You know, and I think that was fair play, because Ferrari could have done that. You know, they could have said, "Oh no, we want this much." Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Well, Silver Cross. Silver Cross. They were the Rolls Royce of prams, or to give them their correct name, pramulators. They were the Rolls Royce of pramulators. Silver Cross. They were. I'll tell you what they were good for. They were good for stealing the wheels and the axles and making bogies. And they were the only prams really that had wheels big enough to do that. You know, I mean, I never pinched any poor baby's pram as a kid. I used to go to the tip and find old ones. But yeah, we used to get hacksaw on them and cut the axles off. The bits of the pram that went through that the axles went through, we cut them off, and then. You know, we used to go home, you know, Dad, can you get the drill out, bash a few holes through that? You know. one axle had become the back wheel and back wheels, and the other one had been mounted onto a piece of log and become the front steering wheels. You know, yeah, we did all sorts of shit when we was kids. But yeah, Silver Cross, yeah, they were the Rolls Royce for prams, weren't they? Absolutely. I mean, they were expensive. They're still expensive today if you can get them. I think they still make them, you know. I think Silver Cross is still in business. Yeah, that's what we used to do with them. Yeah. Yeah. The model was a Silver Shadow for mine, and in 1975 she paid 46 quid. That was a sizable sum then, wasn't it? You know, run it through the inflation calculator, tell us what it was in today, what it is in now in today's money, from Blakely's in Blacklers or Blakely's in Liverpool, sorry. Yeah, Lancashire, yeah, as we were then, yeah. You know, I mean, yeah, they still make. I believe you can still buy Silver Cross prams today. I believe they're still available. They still make them. I don't know whether the quality is the same, but you know, there was certainly the Rolls Royce, weren't they, of prams? Absolutely, they were expensive. I mean, you know, you're on a decent wage if you can afford something like that. You know, back in 1975 anyway, money was worth a bit more, wasn't it? I don't blame her because I don't blame her really, because they're probably worth a few bob in their own right, aren't they? I mean, you know, if they were only ever used for one baby, I mean, we can't have many miles on them, you know, and you know, how long are you a baby for? Where you have to be in one of them if you're about 2 years, if that, 18 months. You know, it depends on how fast you are at getting off your ass and running up the street, innit? You know, because you don't stay in a pram long. I mean, it's like the girl upstairs, her baby runs around now. He doesn't, the only time she takes the pushchairs if she goes a decent distance, but, you know, she's got a set of reins, puts them on him. I've seen her walk out with him. You know, so you're not in them long. You know, you're not in them long enough for them to wear out. So yeah, they're probably still mint and all. Well, there'll be somebody for that, won't they? I mean, absolutely. I mean, of course they will, because people collect that sort of thing. You know, yeah, because the dolls versions, they weren't cheap either, were they? I mean, you know, if you're a little girl and you had one of them as a kid, you know, a doll's version of a Silver Cross, yeah, you know, your parents were. You know, they weren't doing too badly off, were they? Because they were dear toys. You know, the real thing were expensive, but you know, the toy wasn't that much cheaper, I don't think. The toy version, the same kind of quality would have gone in. It just scaled down. You know, for you know, it was just scaled down for about a 7-year-old or something like that. But I mean, Silver Cross they've been going for years. I believe they still are, but I don't know for sure. I'll have to check it up. But even if they're not, they were going for years. I remember them as a kid. They used to have Silver Cross on either side of the pram, and they looked like proper coach built things, didn't they? And dead springy. I remember they were dead springy. You know, they were dead springy, weren't they? I mean, there was a lot of people had them where when I was a kid. Because I remember when I was a kid, when I was like 5 or 6 or something. You know, we'd be, you know, all the mums, none of the mums drove the kids to school. You know, because all the schools were in the area. We all walked to school, and we all ran off up the road, and all the mothers are there behind us, either pushing pushchairs or having a fag in the gob, or pushing a pushchair with a fag in the gob. You know, you know, and when you get to the end of the road, all, wait there, you little bastards, you know, watch that road, you know, all the mothers behind you. You know, we used to get there. You know, we used to get to school, and the teacher used to say, the teacher in the playground used to say, "Oh, your mother not coming this morning?" We used to say, "Yeah, miss, she's behind us." You know, we used to leave the mothers behind, but yeah, they'd all be gossiping to each other about fashions and husbands and, you know, whatever other things they were doing, and it's a different world, isn't it, folks? It is. It's a different world, and not for the better either. You know, I mean, nobody knows each other now. I mean, you know, it's like my daughter. My daughter went to school out of the area for a primary education. She went to a school in the area, and she knew everybody. But for a secondary education, she went to a school out of the area. Because there isn't a secondary school where I live. There used to be, but there isn't one anymore. It was closed down. It was changed from a secondary school to a school for people with special needs. So we didn't have a secondary school by the time Laura was born. Otherwise, she'd have gone to it. And you know, and the reason why the school run exists is because all the schools are out of the area, and people have to ferry their kids to school, or the kids have to get on the bus, you know. And but back in my day, making myself sound bloody old, but it's true. Back when I was a youngster, you know, all the mothers used to walk behind us. We'd all run off ahead, you know, and the mums would shout, "Oh, you lot, watch that bloody road," you know. You know, don't cross that road right there, all this lot behind us. Yes, mum, we're at it, you know. And, you know, and everybody in the local community knew each other. It was like a networking hub. It was a thing that mothers did every day. You know, they took the kids to school, they'd have a good gossip, they'd go back to one of them would go back to the house, one of them's house, and they'd all have a brew, you know, and then they'd all disperse and go and get on with the rest of their days and do their housework and stuff, shopping and shit like that. And except for my mum, she used to wait for us to come home from school and send us. Yeah, you know, but yeah, things are different. It's not the same, and it's never gonna. Them days have gone and they're never coming back, and it's sad. It really is. It's truly sad. But you know, I was born in '65. I remember the tail end of the '60s, the very tail end of them. You know. Wow, you weren't even allowed to scoff your biscuits and your rusks and stuff. I don't blame her. You know, I don't blame her. You know, I've seen the mess babies can make. I was one once. Yeah. Yeah, she polished the chrome every week and wouldn't allow us to eat in them. It was a big a big thing, black though. Back then though. Yeah. It was expensive as well, wasn't it, that sort of item? It's exactly, Andy, but identical in the factory. in Leeds. Mine had leather straps and the suspension, blue hood and aprons, and a white body painted immaculately. Not one blemish, no, they weren't on them. Same here, no secondary schools, no. You know how to catch a kid, then just buy the uniform. You know how to catch a kid, then just buy their uniform. Yeah, well, you did, didn't you? You know, you can only, the only thing is, the only idea you get now is what school they go to by what uniform they wear. Whereas, you know, back in the day, you know, all the parents knew each other, and all the kids knew each other, and all the parents knew all the kids. If I did something wrong, and another parent saw me, you know, you'd guarantee my mum would know about it the next day walking to school. It'd be, get here you, get here you, she'd be at it, you know. What have you been up to? You know, what have you been up to, she'd say. You know, what have you been up to? And if you tried telling lies, oh, by all man, you got to smack round the side of the head. Wait until I tell your father, you know. I used to say, well, don't tell Dad, Mum. I'll do the cleaning for a week. You know, I'll take the dog out for a month. You know, stuff like that. I mean, it was, you know, back in the day. You know, I mean, kids are not scared of their parents anymore. They're not scared of them now, because they know the parents can't chastise them, not in the way we were chastised. I mean, I got a belt across my ass, and, you know, I'm not bothered, I'm still here. You know, but, you know, my dad was a very fair man. I mean, if you gave him shit, by foot you were at it. But, you know, but most of the time he was just happy to give you a bollocking. You know, unless it was the one thing he would actually get his belt off for, and he did to me once. I got it off him a few times, but I only ever got it off him once for lying. What happened was I was wagging school with two coloured lads, two black lads that were friends of mine when we was kids, and we was at Woodhouse Park in Wivenshaw hanging about, and my dad went past in his lorry. I didn't see him go past. Anyway, I got home at night and his belt was off his trousers and across his table, folded up. He said, "You had a good day at school?" I said, "Yeah, Dad, not bad, thanks." He said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Now get over here and get your trousers down." And I got the belt across my arse, and I said to him, I says, "What was that for?" He said, "You haven't been to school." So I turned around and said, "Well, I know that." I said, "But how do you know?" He said, "Because I went past you." He said, you were hanging around with two other lads, two black lads up at Woodhouse Park." I said, "That's right, friends of mine." I said, "Well, I called for them." I says, and the mother, she was a lovely woman, the woman, Mrs. Overanger, I can't remember her first name. She was a lovely woman. Jamaican she was. And she said, you know, "Would you like a glass of orange and a biscuit, Andy?" You know, and obviously you'd say yes, and, you know, and you going to school with Tony and Clifford, and you'd say yes, but you never got there. You know, and so I never lied to my dad after that. I thought, no, there's no point. You know, I'm going to get caught, what's the point? So that cured me of lying. Yeah, right across the backside. Get your trousers down. And your undies, he said. Get your trousers down. Straight across the ricker. Yeah. And he said to me, my dad, he was a fair man, my dad. He was, you know, he was fair. And he actually said to me, my old fella, you know, he said, "You know why you got the belt?" I said, "Well, for not going to school." I says, "But you're going to tell me for something else." He said, "Yeah." He said, "It was for lying." He said, "If you'd have told me that you didn't go to school," he said, "I'd just give you a bollocking." And you know, he said, I would have just bollocked it and left it. He said, but because you lied about it, he said, that's why you got the belt. So he didn't only just give you the punishment, he explained why you got it as well, which was good, I suppose. Odge Nodge. Irish TV and, yeah, Pi 368 dual standard TV. Oh, I'll have to have a look at that after. See what he's doing. Only 3 people here now, I'll be going in a minute. Yeah, I know your mother, yeah. You know. I know your mother, you'll keep. Yeah. Yeah, they were the days, Mark. They were the days, buddy. If we came home, Andy, if we came home and a street light was on, Mum would be stood at the door. As we walked in, we'd duck to brace ourselves for a crack. Sometimes she did it, sometimes she didn't. But you never knew when we never knew we copped it. Yeah, they did things like that. Parents, didn't they? You know, that's called what's it called? It's called lowering you to a false lowering you into a false sense of security, isn't it? You know. My mother very rarely laid a hand on us. She used to leave the chastising to me dad. But she did, yeah, she was known. She did keep a plimsoll down the side of the chair, and she was known to give us the odd crack across the arse with a plimsoll, but very rare. She used to prefer to leave that to me dad. She said, I'll tell your father about you when he comes home. And of course, if he was a long distance lorry driver, my dad, he could have, you know, if she said that on a Monday and he went away early hours Monday morning, he weren't going to be back till about Wednesday or Thursday, by which time she'd forgotten all about it. So we used to get away with it, but, you know, if it was right on the day, no, then she'd more than likely tell him, you know, he's led me a right dance, or they've led me a right dance while you've been away, you know, and he'd be, have they really? Right, fucking belt across the arse, like, you know, you won't do it again. But, yeah, we had some fun. I mean, nowadays, the kids nowadays, they don't respect the parents the way we used to. Partly because the parents are not allowed to give them a crack or anything, are they? I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I had Laura from the age of 12, I got custody of her from the age of 12. She was living here from the age of 11, but I actually won the custody case in 2008. And I got custody of her. She got a crack if she needed one. Fucking absolutely. I even told the social worker, I said, I'll bend her ear. I said, I'd give her a crack, I'd give her a cuff around it if she starts me too much. She said, but you're not allowed to. I said, no, you're not allowed to cause any reddening. I said, you're not allowed to leave a mark. I said, so she'll get a crack around the ear. That won't leave a mark. And that's what the law says. But a lot of people think the law says you cannot chastise your children. It doesn't. The law says you're not allowed to leave a mark or a bruise or reddening. And I agree with that. You shouldn't do that. But yeah, she got a crack if she needed one. I mean, my dad used to say to me, listen, just because you've left school and you're growing up, you're not too big for a crack. My mum used to say it and all. My mum used to say it when I was in my 30s. You're not too big for a crack. You know. It didn't hurt us, Mark, that's absolutely right. We knew where we stood and never pushed it. We were taught respect, absolutely. I really do think it was a great lesson. It's not gonna kill you, a slap. No, that's very true. I was petrified because I was caught nicking apples. The lady called my dad, and well under my feet didn't touch the floor. No, that's well, I actually had an argument once. I had an argument once with somebody. I was stealing apples. I was going out fucking scrumping, taking apples, and they caught me. And they said, well, they're my apples. I said, well, how can they be your apples? They said, well, the tree's in my garden. I said, yeah, but the tree grows naturally. I said, so they're not really your apples. I said, they just happen to be apples that are in your garden. You know. And the guy just said to me, he said, well, you've got a point. I said, no, I've got a point. He said, right, he said, take what you've got and I don't want to see you here again. You know, I used to argue with me. I don't think I ever got punished for stealing apples. I never got punished for stealing apples. No, but that being said, you know, I used to take them home. Me and my dad used to say, "Where'd you get them from?" I said, "Oh, I got them from so and so's apple tree." "Did you ask?" He used to say, "No, Dad." "Well, why didn't you ask?" "Well, you shouldn't have to ask. It's food that's naturally grown. You shouldn't have to ask." I said, "I didn't pinch them all." I said, "A big bloody tree full of them." You know, so they pinched like half a dozen or something daft. You know. But yeah. Yeah, I used to go after apples. Where we lived in Brooklands, in Wivenshaw, many years ago. It won't be there now. Round the corner from us, we lived on a road called Tilstock Walk, and just round the corner was an orchard. There was an orchard just round the corner, and there was apples and pears in there. And all sorts of stuff. We used to just go for the apples and pears, and you could just take them. Nobody bothered. There was no gates on the place. Don't know who owned it, whether it was privately owned, the film's finished, or whether it was owned by the council. I don't know who owned it, but nobody ever bothered, and I never ever got a bollock for going in there. Me and our Willie were always in there. You know, every autumn these pears used to start to come down. You know, we used to wait for them. You know, we used to wait for them to drop, and as soon as they started to drop, we were on it. Me and our Willie, we used to collect them and take them home. Oh, they were fucking beautiful, dead big as well. Well, they looked dead big back in the day. We only had small faces, like, you know. We was only what, 6? We was only 5 or 6 or something daft, maybe a bit younger. This is the very early 70s. Very early, so it could have even been late 60s. But, you know. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a nice chat tonight. You know, it's been interesting. We've got the video working. You know. Yeah, we've got the video working. And we've had a good chat. Me and Mark have just had a nice chat. Still having one. Let's see, just read what he's... Ow! Caught the comb in the air. The temper of my glasses, sorry. In the air. Yeah, sprouts from the fields, you know, and I'll tell you what we used to. I'll just read your message first. Just read your chat first, Mark. Yeah. When we had the farms, yeah. Harmless, Andy, yeah, it was harmless. We were in comparison to today's worst ever thing back when was to wag school and be caught smoking, I'd hate to start again. Yeah, so would I. I'll tell you what, you know, if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have never have put one of them things anywhere near my mouth. But we didn't, you see. I mean, you know, if you didn't smoke where I came from, if you didn't smoke, you were seen as being a coward or something, because all your mates did, and well, we're not going to hang around with you, and because you don't want to lose your mates, you do it, you see. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I remember when I was a very young child, I was about 9 or 10, because I started smoking when I was about 11, and I refused to take a woodbine off a lad in school, and he went round telling the whole school I was a homosexual. I said, I didn't know what one of them was. I said, what's a homosexual? I asked the teacher. You know, I asked her what a homosexual was. She said, well, it's a man that prefers other men rather than women. She explained it. She says, why? I said, only got called one. She says, why did you get called one? I said, because I wouldn't take a woodbine off this lad. I didn't say his name, you know, because I don't believe in dropping someone in it. You know, but yeah. But, you know, and our Willie got us one day. I was about 11 and our Willie got us, just turned 11, our Willie got us outside. And he pinched a couple of cigarettes out of my mum's packet. He says, yeah, I'll have that. I said, I don't want that. No, he said, you've got to have it. He says, otherwise you're a shithouse if you don't like. Oh, you know. So that was my start of my smoking. And I don't smoke now. I mean, if you smoke and you enjoy it, Mark, you know, if you smoke and you enjoy it, that's all fair play. You know, I don't have a problem with that. You know, but I used to enjoy a cigarette, and you know, the best thing for me was a cigarette and a pint. You know, a pint of beer and a cigarette was a match made in heaven. A pint of bitter with a fag. You know, sat in the pub chatting to your mates. That was a match made in heaven. But when they banned smoking in public places, they fucked all that up. You know, they immediately. I'll tell you, this must be old, because Bruce Forsyth looks a lot younger there. He does. Still ugly fucker, but he looks younger. Yeah, Generation Game I think this was, I'm not sure. Don't know, I didn't see the title. But, you know, yeah, at the end of the day, you know, I don't do it now. If I was to smoke now, I'd probably die from smoke inhalation. You know, I mean, you know, I gave up because I thought it was killing me, and it turned out it wasn't. It was COVID. Because I gave up. Originally, I gave up in 2000. Because believe it or not, nicotine doesn't. I don't get addicted to it. You know, people might call me a liar, but I should know. I know how my own body works. Anyway, I don't get addicted to it. I gave up in 2000, and I started again in 2015 or something. First of all, don't ask me why, I just did. And then I gave up in 2019, about December 2019, because I started to feel ill and breathless, and I still get it now. And it was like nothing I've ever had before. And I thought it was through smoking. So I thought, right, well, knocked that on the head straight away, so I did. And I thought a couple of days I'll start to feel better, but I never did. And the Mildred, in fact, he got that bad. The Mildred was doing me shopping for me, and I was giving him the money when he come back. But he still does that for me now. But I used to go with him. He used to take me shopping with him. I used to go with him and get what I needed, and we'd all jump back in the van and come back. But I just started getting out of breath, and it wasn't due to smoking. It was due to COVID. I found out later. I had it in 2019 before it was even known about, and the government didn't even tell us. The government didn't even think to tell us about it until March 2020. Well, there we go. Yeah, and I thought it was cigarettes that was killing me, and it wasn't. Yeah. That rings a bell. I'm going to make a move in a minute, folks. I think there's only just about me and you left, isn't there, Mark? Speaking of Apple's just popped up with news stories. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with the prices that they charge for them. I think it's scandalous that, the price. But then again, it's Britain, innit? We get shafted for everything we get. We don't get we never get a bargain in this country. The governments all the governments that have ever been in power in this country wouldn't know what a bargain was if it smacked them around the side of the head. They won't give us anything for nothing. I mean, yeah, okay, we've been getting a bit of free electric, but we're not really getting it free. They just speed the meter up so it uses it quicker. At the end of the day, we're not, they think they're doing us a favour, but they're not. All they're doing is preventing the inevitable. The rising up of the British public. That's all they're preventing. But I think if people want to smoke, it should be up to them whether they smoke or not. I don't allow anybody to smoke in here. In fact, the last time I did smoke, I very rarely smoked in the flat. I used to go outside and stand at the front door or at the gate and have one. I don't like because you get nicotine juice all over your stuff. I don't allow people to smoke in here, but if people want to smoke elsewhere, they're more than happy to do it. If someone comes here, like Christine's fella Carl, if he comes here, he smokes. He wants to have a cigarette. Yeah, he goes to the front door. I don't have to tell him. He knows. He just gets up. He says, "I'm going for a quick puff," as he calls it, and he'll go to the front door and he'll have his cigarette, smoke half of it, and come back in. For the amount he smokes, I don't know why he bothers. His own doctor even said that, but that's his business. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad I gave it up when I did, and those that enjoy it, okay, fair enough. I don't have a problem with people who enjoy a cigarette. What gets me though, the government say that smoking's immoral. They don't find it immoral enough to not accept the tax off it, do they? It's not too immoral, just immoral. But it's the same as drugs. If people go out 7 days a week and they work, and they want to take drugs, it should be up to them. I mean, I don't take drugs, never taken drugs, but if people want to take them, it's up to them. It's up to what people want to do, as long as they've got the money to pay for it. I don't agree with breaking into somebody's house stealing their possessions and funding it that way. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You know, we are looked after. Yeah, we are looked after more than most countries. That's very true. But that doesn't stop. That doesn't hide the fact that we're still shafted either. You know. You know, that's what that's what they rely on for the national health money. Oh, I know that. The smokers who fund the national health, innit? Smokers and gamblers, and drinkers. I mean, I like a drink. Don't get me wrong. I've not had one for about. Yeah, I suppose I could class myself as. I suppose I could class myself as a teetotaler now. I've not had a drink for about 2 years, 3 years. In fact, last time I had a drink was over at Kelly's. She had a bit of a get together, and I was at my gate. She said, "Do you fancy popping over?" I said, "Yeah." So she gave me a glass of something, and I had several more glasses of whatever it was, and I came home. I came home sort of inebriated, pissed, and we all had a good evening. We all had a good laugh. It was all right. You know, but not had a drink since then, so you know, at the end of the day, if I, you know, I used to enjoy a drink, you know, but that being said, if I somehow came across a bottle of scotch, I'd sit and drink it, because I do like a whiskey now and again, so I probably would. I don't drink it neat. I always let it down with lemonade or Coke or something. I always put something with it. I never drink it neat. I have the first one neat to warm you up, but other than that, you know, once you've had the first one neat, I have the rest of them with something. And, you know, I'll mix them, put something in with it, even if it's just water, and let it down. But yeah, I used to like a good scoop. Why not? But you know, I just don't bother. I mean, I just don't bother, mate. Don't bother. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. And I'm not sure what me and Steve have got planned for tomorrow. I told him if it's snowing and the weather's bad, not to drive here, because, you know, I wouldn't like to the thought that he'd get hurt trying to get here. So, you know, do you know that picture on that machine has got better the longer it's been on. That picture on that machine's got better the longer it's been on. Do you know, I could quite comfortably sit and watch a film, not on that size screen, but I could quite comfortably sit and watch a film on this recorder with this size screen, with a decent size screen, and a movie that I actually really wanted to watch. But yeah, Bruce Forsyth, he's still got his lantern jaw, but looks a lot younger there. But it was only in his 50s there. Maybe even less than that. No, it'll be in his 50s there, I think. 50s, maybe early 60s. Definitely looks younger. Yeah, so I haven't tried this for recording yet, but there again, I've not got a source to put into it, so I'll have to find something I can plug into it through those sockets at the back, and see what it records like. What I'm going to do, the beginning of this tape, I'm going to chop the beginning. What I'm going to do, I'm going to edit the tape. I'm going to chop the beginning so it doesn't dirty the heads. So I'd have to keep taking the top off to clean the bloody heads. But yeah, that's the dog's bollocks, so that's not bad. There's plenty of in it. Plenty of brightness and everything in it. I mean, here we go. There you go. I won't bother swapping cameras, but you can see it there. There we go. It's a bit much for, but yeah, you get the idea. You know, I can change. I could turn the controls down, but I couldn't be bothered. But yeah, how much is left on this tape to go? I can't see the thing. There we go. Oh, we've got quite. Well, we're near the end of it. What he should do, he should get to the end, stop, and then rewind. But I don't think BETAMAXs did that. I think he just got to the end and stopped. And this has got a bit of leader at the end, and the last time I remember it getting to the end, it just stopped and it wouldn't rewind. I had to wind it back a bit, take the tape out, wind it back by hand to wind the leader back in, and then it rewound. So whether it's going to work properly, whether it's going to do the same thing this time, I don't know. But I don't think these rewind on their own. I think they just stop. I can't remember. It's been a while. No, I'm not bothering tonight. I'm going to go to bed soon because I'm a bit tired. Yeah, well, you have a lovely evening as well, Mark. You know, yeah, you know, I don't think, how old was he? He was about 500 years old, wasn't he, Bruce Forsyth? I mean, he was an old man when I was a kid. You know. I used to like him, me. I thought he was alright. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, folks. I mean, we got the video mended. I mean, yeah, there are those who might think it was a bit of a bodge job. Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe it was, but you can't get the bits. You just can't get that. You wouldn't find, unless you got another one of these machines. You're not gonna find that part. You know, you wouldn't find that. You know, yeah, but I think he was. He was old when I was a kid. I think he was about 500 years old, wasn't he? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna shoot off, folks, and I'm gonna shoot off and get myself a bit of supper. And the Mildred never brought me groceries round. Why did he not bring me groceries round? I bet he never bloody got them, the cunt. I'll phone him up in a minute, see why he not brought me groceries round. I'm going to do myself a piece of Holy Ghost and a pot noodle. And, well, 4 pieces of Holy Ghost. 4 rounds of toast and a pot noodle, I think. And you all have a good evening. And if you're going to do anything I would like to do, then be careful. Yeah, I enjoyed it too, Mark. It was nice having a chat with you. Yeah, you know, I like to have a chat with people who come on. You know, of course I do. I mean, there's no point. I better plug this in. It's going to go flat. So unplug that there. Where's the charger? Let's plug the charger in. Turn it on. And shove this up the back of it. Shove that right up the back. There we go. In we go. Yeah, 28% charged. Yeah, it was running down a bit. Needed some titty in it, didn't it? Anyway, bring this over here. There we go. Put it on top of there for a minute. I'm going to leave it there, folks, and thank you to all of you coming in. You know, all of you that subscribe and view, and You know, because yeah, well, us YouTube creators, you know, we're nothing without you guys. Because if you guys didn't come on and watch and comment, and you know, there'd be no sense in doing it. It wouldn't get done, would it? We'd never bother, because there would be no reason to. And it's only you guys that is the reason why we do it. And I'm grateful to everybody that subscribes and watches my channel. I truly am. Thank you very much. And I will catch you all tomorrow for me and Steve, if Steve gets here. I hope he does. And I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but we'll think of something. Might do a video recorder Sunday. Might get them videos out of the bedroom and bring them in here. Put this one away. We know this one's okay. We know it's happy. It's been on. It's played that tape. I don't know how big that tape was. I don't even know if the case it was in was original. I'll find out when it comes out. Probably an L750. I think that was the biggest they did, wasn't it? The L750 on the BETAMAX. Probably an L750. And well, it's gone through this tape with absolutely no trouble or whatsoever. This machine is really, really working well, and the clock works well, the counter works well, Bruce Forsyth looks well, he did then, and I'll be back this way tomorrow, folks, so I hope to see more of you then. Bye for now. Oh, remember to like, subscribe and share. Bye for now, folks.